coastline of Louisiana or the upper Texas coast. You got to get out of there. Storm surge, just straight up rain, flooding, and wind damage. All that's going to be extremely widespread and absolutely devastating. Take a look at this storm. It's actually still strengthening. That's the really scary thing here. 145 mile per hour sustained winds. Really not too different. Laura.
This is absolutely terrifying, watching this on the news.
You can see how strong the wind was, how heavy the rain was.
I am so worried.
It's going to get way, way worse than that as we go through the night. Okay, so
150 miles per hour.
I'm going to show you the inland stuff in just a second, but
Lordy.
It's possible that it could even strengthen more before it makes landfall.
Unsurvivable storm
mile per hour
surge.
storm. That wouldn't be quite Category 5, by the way, but unsurvivable is a pretty strong word, and I would say it's the right word for the storm surge. The storm surge is when the wind blows the ocean up onto the land, so parts of the coast become part of the ocean, and it's extremely devastating. It is extremely dangerous as well, so please take these evacuations seriously if you haven't already. Once the storm moves inland, it'll start to lose some of its wind strength, but it's not going to be for a little while. So we'll have the storm surge going as far as 30 to 40 miles inland, the extremely heavy rain with the flooding, and then the widespread power outages as well. So the Ozarks, parts of Arkansas up into Missouri, you guys are going to be dealing with some really heavy rain as well, and those tend to be areas that flood really easily. So that's going to be a...
Okay, so I know all of y'all are watching this just as I am on the news, and I'm sure that many of you have family in Texas and Louisiana and up throughout Missouri in this areas, and I just want all of my subscribers who live in this area to know that I am thinking about you. I am praying for you. I am really, really praying hard for you, and I just want to ask everyone who is a part of our YouTube family here to please remember our subscribers who live in this area. We have so many of us, our family members. Let's see, Mary, I'm going to link her channel, y'all. She just put up a video about what the conditions are like at her home there in Texas. So y'all remember Mary, Chad, Brenda, Celestine, Beth and Corman, Joe, Diane, Teresa, Vicky. Y'all, I know I'm leaving some of you out, but I'm not leaving you out in my heart and in my prayers tonight. I just want you to know that I love you. I'm praying for you. I know what is headed your way. I have lived through several hurricanes myself. One, I believe, it has been the most deadly hurricane to ever hit the earth, and that is Hurricane Camille that hit in August 1969. And it was horrific. I will never forget the night of terror that we had to go through while that hurricane just ravaged the Mississippi Gulf Coast and the inland. And, you know, people will be evacuating the best that they can. And this is not an easy time for anyone to have to evacuate. There's so many of people who are out of work, who don't even have the money to put gas in their cars, or to evacuate and pay for a hotel room someplace. You know, many people are just going to be stuck and have to ride it out in their homes. And then I think about all the food and all the gardens and the produce that has been picked and prepared and frozen and put in all of these deep freezers. Oh, I mean, you just cannot afford to lose that. So I just hope and pray that if you do lose electricity for a while, that you will at least be able to get some dry ice and to preserve your produce and your vegetables. And I just want all of you to know that I'm praying for you. And I'm going to read a little scripture here. And this is from Psalm 91. And I'm just going to read one verse, which is verse 5. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. Now, Psalm 91 is just a good chapter to read during times like this. So that's what I will be reading tonight and praying diligently for all of y'all to be safe. Just know that I love you. And if if you can just, any of you, let me know. Diane, Celestine, all of y'all, Joe, Teresa, all of y'all, if you can, let me know by email at glendasully51@gmail.com, or just in comments. Please just let us know how you're doing. And let's just watch a little bit more of this, and then I'm going to end it.
A problem, and then eventually the rest of that storm, whatever's left of it at that point, will be moving up through the Ohio Valley. So there's going to be a lot of rain for a lot of people, but the immediate biggest concern is the surge. Get out of there if you haven't already.
You know, that's easier said than done. Like I just said, not everybody can get out.
This card I'm holding in my hand, it's an example of an all-in-one Medicare Advantage membership card.
Well, the storm surge from Hurricane Laura is going to be absolutely devastating, and it's going to have some very
15
long-term
to
effects. And yes,
20
in some
feet,
cases,
8 to
it will
12
be
feet.
unsurvivable. I know that sounds like a really
That's
big
such
word,
a huge
but
area.
it's definitely an appropriate word in this case. 15 to 20 feet of storm surge is what we're forecasting for that area I was just talking about, the western part of the Louisiana coastline. If you're not familiar with storm surge, it's basically when the wind pushes the ocean up onto the land. So the water just keeps on rising, and if you live along the coast, you become part of the ocean. Now, that's already started. It's really not
that
even
is so
close to as bad
scary.
as it's going to get yet, but you can see a little bit of this stuff starting in places like Holly Beach, Louisiana. This is just a tiny little preview. I mean, that place is going to be underwater so quickly it's not even funny within the next couple of hours. And the other thing is that it's not only directly
push
along the
40
coast where we see the
miles
surge
inland.
moving into, okay? Because you've got a lot of open mouths of rivers that are
Poor
down
Cameron,
along that
Louisiana.
coastline. So the water
It's
will end up
always
kind
getting
of
hit by
pushing up into those
hurricanes.
rivers, and then it can push like 30 to 40 miles inland. So that's why we're really worried about Lake Charles, especially, I'd say, good chance that half the town or more is going to be underwater when this thing is over. So this is really serious business, guys. Storm surge is by far the most deadly part of any hurricane. It's also why we have evacuations, and this
Storm
kind of
surge
wind,
and
this kind
also
of storm, and
tornadoes.
as
You
big
know,
as this
these
storm is and as persistent
hurricanes
as the surge
spin
is
off
gonna
so
be,
many
look how long on this
tornadoes.
forecast map the wind is blowing from the ocean up onto the land. Even though it's not as strong by the time we get to late Thursday, it's going to be several tide cycles and several days before the water goes down.
This really, I guess I'm just thinking about all the hurricanes that I've lived through, living on the Mississippi Gulf Coast and New Orleans. It's just so scary.
But only gusts. It's dry. And so it's been fairly quiet. This is probably the windiest it's been all day, and that tells me
Galveston is already 29 miles per hour.
I mean, look at the palm trees blowing in the wind. Still a little bit of that milky sunshine, but overall, the winds are going to steadily and even rapidly pick up, especially once we get those rain bands that come in. And that's going to be starting here, guys.
I mean, the surge? You mean you're telling me the ocean can go 30 miles inland? Wow, this is very scary.
It's dark. You're not going to be able to see what's going on. You're just going to be able to hear it. It's going to be terrifying. So please take these alerts.
Oh, it is terrifying hearing those
This is a storm you do not want to mess with. This is not
winds whipping and whistling and all the electrical transformers popping and blowing up and catching on fire. 110 mile per hour gusts. Oh, category 5. Okay, well I'm going to go ahead and end it, and I just want y'all to know that I love you. I'm praying for you, and I just hope and pray that everyone is going to be okay. Good night, guys.